Welcome to Wine Soundtrack Canada. Listen to the passion with which producers narrate their winery and their world. In 30 Answers, discover their stories, personalities, and passions.
Hello, friends and listeners of the Wine Soundtrack Canada. I'm Christine Campbell, your host, and today I am over the moon thrilled to be sitting with my good friend, Mary McDermott from Township 7 Winery. Oh, we are sitting in downtown Vancouver, and I am just, like I said, thrilled to be here with you, Mary. Welcome. Can you please tell me and the listeners a bit about Township 7?
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm pleased to be with you as well. Township 7 Vineyards and Winery has two locations in British Columbia. We have a location in the Lower Mainland near Vancouver in South Langley, and we also have a location in the beautiful Okanagan Valley on the Naramata Bench. So that makes us easily accessible to many parts of the province. We provide and sell and make a number of different wines, including sparkling wines, big bold reds, aromatic whites, anything that your heart may desire.
And I can attest to that. All of that is true. How many acres of land do you currently have right now?
Well, our estate is about 20 acres, and then we also have 4 growers, which would be about another 20 acres. So we have about 40 all told.
And your case production annually?
Annually, we're doing between 10 and 12,000 cases, depending on the year. Sometimes it's a little less. As farming goes, yields are up and down, so that's what would be our goal, between 10 and 12,000.
Are you hoping to expand that, or is that kind of the happy place for right now?
I think that's our happy place. That's where we want to stay, because we just want to concentrate on making those the best that we can make them.
Mary, what would you say are your top markets? Is it a mainly British Columbia only consumer base, or are you able to ship across Canada internationally?
We are predominantly in British Columbia because British Columbians are so great to us and support us so well. But we do ship across Canada. We have a Club 7 wine club, which we can get into many provinces across the country. We also have a 7 Stars sparkling wine club, which we send across the country. So we do have fans right across Canada. We don't ship internationally at this point, and I'm not sure. We want you to come to see us and have our experience and see our wines as opposed to shipping them to you.
Not bad. Then they get to meet you. Right? Oh, yes. There we go. There's the draw. Mary, what is your first memory relevant to wine?
That's really tough, but I think the memory that I have, or what really motivated me, sure, I was working in hospitality and serving and learning about wine, and I did take the WSET courses, but my real moment of aha was I bought a bottle of Dom Ruinart, a vintage bottle, a 1990 vintage Dom Ruinart. And I put it aside, and then one day my husband and I tasted it, and it changed the world for me. I just thought, wow, this is awesome. Can I do something with this? Can I be involved in this business? What can I do? And up until then, I'd just been serving and working as a sommelier and so on and so forth. But then that really motivated me to move to a next level.
Yes, champagne's always the answer, right? So traveling the world abroad, what would you say is the best foreign wine you've ever enjoyed?
That's a really tough question.
I'm not trying to make it tough. I'm not trying to make it easy. We're just trying to see what you have to say.
Well, I could go back to sparkling again. I haven't been to Champagne yet. That's on my bucket list, obviously. But I've been to Trentino and Franciacorta, and we did a trip to England to do some sparkling and obviously some beautiful wines, imported wines that I've had. I'd say those bubbles would be it for me. Franciacorta had some beautiful wines that we tasted, and also, England. some fantastic sparkling there. I was just so blown away by what they were doing there. And they also re-energized me when we took that trip, just seeing what they're doing and how they're progressing. And obviously they have so much support from the wine writers in Britain that it's just great for them. But just to see what other people are doing, I'm hoping to go to Chile and Argentina to do a little bit more, and then obviously France and Germany. Oh, where does it stop? Italy was great. The Piedmonte. It's just I can't choose a favorite.
Okay. That's okay. That is okay. You're choosing all of the good ones, so it's perfect. If you were to rank the world populations, what country do you think drinks the best in terms of quality wine, more than not?
I don't know, because you think, okay, all these quality wines that come out of France and Italy, and I think a lot of them get sent overseas, and they like their local guy. They know the wine comes from. They're very supportive of the local vineyard, and so I would say those are quality wines, but we would never see those. I would say probably some place where they have small producers that have really great wines that we can't get, like Croatia, maybe Hungary, even New Zealand. I'm sure they're drinking fabulous wines there that we can't get. And so I'd say those would be like the high quality wines. I'm not saying that the French don't drink, because obviously champagne.
Yeah.
And you also know that London is the center of the universe as far as wine goes, so they're drinking it all.
So currently right now, what wine in your cellar, Mary, is giving you the most satisfaction? What are you kind of reaching for more than not in the Township 7 cellar?
Well, my husband tends to be reaching for all of them, so I don't know. But I think that the Black Dog, which is our premium red blend, not a Bordeaux, not that kind of blend. It's got a mix of many different varieties in it each year. That one is really great. I tried a 2014 the other day, and I thought that was a really nice wine. And then, I really like the Reserve Sauvignon Blanc that we have. That's one of my favorites. So as far as red and white, those would be my go-tos with us.
Mary, do you believe that there is such a thing as a perfect grape variety?
Oh, dear. I think everything has its ups and downs. Just like us, nobody's perfect. Nothing's perfect. I mean, I love them. Like, they're my children, each is different. Each has some aspect I like or don't like. But perfect, man, that's hard to get to.
Fair answer. What is your personal opinion of wine critics and wine scores?
Well, I think it's a good guide for a lot of people who not really sure what they're looking for, and then helps them understand and learn the wine world and learn things. For myself, I try if it's something about my wine or something I've done, I try to take it. If it's a criticism, I try to take it as a learning commitment for me to do something better. And if it's a lot of praise, I don't really take it, it's like I don't know. I'm not sure how to take it. I'm like, thank you. I'm not sure what that means, but thank you. And I'll take it. But, I would never, I'm pretty humble that way, I think.
You really are, and it's a beautiful quality. If anybody, all of the listeners just need to come and visit Mary and meet her in person. You're going to understand it all. Getting down to wine, for you as a consumer, do you prefer whites or reds or rosés? Do you have a preference that you tend to reach for more often than not?
No. It depends on the day. It depends on how I feel. It depends on the temperature. It's a lot of things for me that make my choices. I would drink sparkling or champagne every day if I could. I love it. And it depends where I am. It depends where I am in the world, what I'd like to have and what I'd like to try, because I like so many different things, so I couldn't say.
Fair enough. I think you just answered this regarding sparkling, champagne or something else. You do such a fantastic sparkling profile, but you've also mentioned Franciacorta. You seem to like all the sparkling wines, yes?
Yes, I do, because everybody has something different to bring to the table. A sense of place is what it's all about. And the way we grow the grapes, they may be the same varieties, they look completely different to what they grow in Champagne, and the same in Franciacorta, where they're growing the same things, and other places in the world, California and Australia and New Zealand. Everybody's growing these same varieties, but they look different. So you appreciate the sense of place in each one of those, and the sense of what each winemaker is trying to accomplish. So there's fantastic wines from all over the world, sparkling. I do love some particular champagnes, but I also love sparkling from Australia. Oh, I could just go on all day about it, really.
Well, we're both sparkling wine fans, and I'm so glad that you're out there doing what you're doing. So maybe you've had that extra one glass of sparkling wine or two. I've been known to maybe have one or two extra. Do you have a hangover cure that you might want to share with the listeners? We're always looking for some information on that.
Other than just having another drink? Yeah. When I was a traveler in Britain and Australia, there's this vitamin B tablet that you take called Baraka, and it's a fizzy, dissolves in water. It's a fizzy tablet. Usually take that before I go to bed with maybe a Advil or acetaminophen or whatever it is that you do. Or if I'm not prepared, that greasy breakfast always works too.
Nothing wrong with bacon and eggs in the morning, right?
Yeah.
What does a non-drinker lose out on by not tasting your wine, Mary?
I think it's more of an experience that you lose out on. And that's all we're trying to give people. It just enhance their experience, enhance their life. We're not trying to, get them to drink too much or do any of that thing. It's just to add to what is already great about your life. And so a sense of fun, a sense of adventure, a sense of something different. Just to taste something different, to take your mind somewhere else, to feel something else. I think that's what I would say you would miss.
All right, so kind of on that vein, but in a very out there way, space aliens have just landed in your vineyard, and they demand to be taken into your tasting room and fed one of the Township 7 wines. What is it you are going to have them try for the first time ever, and why?
Probably one of our sparkling wines, because it would give them a sense of the celebration of life that we have. We like to have fun, we like to celebrate, we like to enjoy this bubble, this uplifting wine, it seems to be for us. So that's what I would do.
So let's talk about vintage a little bit. Do you agree with the fact that every vintage tells a different story, or are there more things that are repeating themselves more often than not?
Well, with the state of the planet as it is, I would say every vintage tells a different story. With climate change being a growing factor, everything is different. We've had so many different vintages with different factors. We try as winemakers to, if it's a vintage we think is fantastic, to enhance it, or if it's a vintage that hasn't gone that well for us, we try to bring it up to the sense of the other vintages. So those are our challenges. Obviously, we look at our vines and assess how they grow differently with each challenge we're given, whether it's heat, whether it's wet, whether it's cold temperatures, whether in the case of British Columbia, we often have wildfires, whether it's these things or other things, like each vintage has a story to tell. And we do tell it. And we tell it so that people can understand how it's affected the wines in different ways. But we also try to maintain a high quality no matter what we're given.
So, Mary, do you have any personal good luck rituals when harvest is about to start?
Not really. I just try and be as prepared as possible. And then I think, oh my goodness, here it comes, usually. Or, I'm not really ready. Am I ready? Is all the equipment ready? And that's all I really try and do, is make sure that we're as ready as possible.
I've learned and have heard that some producers walk in their cellars and speak to the wine in the barrels and or speak to the vines in the vineyard. Do you do that? And if so, what types of things are you saying?
Oh, I definitely do that. I will often be found in the cellars talking to the tanks or the barrels, telling my little babies to keep going. And I'm here with them, and I'm looking for them to produce some beautiful wine. And then, I don't know so much. I do talk to the vines. I'm just a bit of a weirdo, that's all. I tell them they're doing great, or is everything okay? Like, what's going on? And also, I think what it does in my own mind, it gives me a sense of where they're at and what the process is, and all of the things that are going on. So it's just it's just me verbalizing out loud what's happening in a very strange little way.
But it's beautiful. Wouldn't it be wonderful if they told you what they wanted or needed or what was going to happen? They were forecasting for you, talking back.
Well, sometimes they do, but not out loud. So, I mean, that's the beauty of it. If you've been doing it long enough, if you're really into how the vines are doing, you can sense it when you see them. And that's what you're meant to be doing. You're meant to be out in the field, looking at the fruit, looking at the vines, looking at the leaves, looking at everything, just to see if everything's healthy, feeling the humidity of the vineyard, feeling if it's too dry, the wind, all of those things that you want to feel what the vines are feeling so you can understand better what they need.
Okay, we're going to go in a different path right now, and I'm going to ask you what you wanted to be when you grew up. When you were little, what did you want to be?
Oh my goodness. I can't really remember.
Oh, yes you can. Really?
I never thought about being a winemaker, that's for sure. I took drama, so I liked to do that, and I did a lot of public speaking, which is weird because I don't have a really loud voice and I'm not a projector and that kind of thing. And I guess I always wanted to be a figure skater. Yeah, I took figure skating and always wanted to be really good at that, so that's something.
That's amazing. I love that. I would have loved to see you as a figure skater. You would have been fantastic. Okay, Mary, when you're not working, how do you spend your free time?
Well, my husband and I have a brand new puppy, so we go for hikes and walks because she's a handful and needs lots of energy burned off. I like to swim. We love to travel. My husband is a chef, so we like to try different foods and wines. He's so fabulous. And, see friends. And there's so much to do in BC, travel to different see so many beautiful things. Like even right now, sitting with you in downtown Vancouver, looking at the North Shore Mountains and the ocean, there's just nothing that isn't great to do here.
You heard that here first. That is one of the best travel cheerleading rah-rahs that I've ever heard on this podcast. And it's true because we do live in a beautiful province. Well, I know that I would like to come up and visit you and your husband when I'm up in the Okanagan the next time. That would be great. Mary, you referenced swimming, but do you do any team sport in particular at all?
I do curling in the winter. So my husband and I and another couple, he works in the tasting room with his wife, and we curl as a team. I used to play baseball. I was quite good at that for a while. I did all the things, volleyball and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
You're the first curler I've had on the podcast. Such a fantastic Canadianism, right? And we're kind of thought of as the curling country of the world in a way, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we really were. We've kind of taught everyone else about it. Scotland and Canada.
Yeah, Scotland. It started there. Mary, do you have a favorite singer or group, either now or kind of over the course of your life, that has always brought you some happiness?
I don't know if there's one individual one. There's lots. I do like Eric Clapton, so I'm a kind of a classic rock, but then I also there's some classic Canadian bands that people around the world might not know, like Tragically Hip or Blue Rodeo is another of my favorites. So I like those guys, and just so many of the Beatles. How could you not like the Beatles? But I kind of listen to everything, because we do play music in the cellars for the guys. And oftentimes my team is, much younger than I am. So I get to hear what new music's coming out. And there's a lot of fun stuff, all different genres. It's great.
So for a very romantic evening with your husband, you're out for dinner. What wine would you personally order to kick off the night?
Probably sparkling or champagne again. Keep going back to that one. I wouldn't mention anyone by name, but there's some fabulous wines that just, every wine list I look at, I'm like, well, I haven't tried that. We need to try that. It sounds fabulous. Let's go and see what's new in the world. And then oftentimes I'll ask the sommelier too, because obviously they've had the chance to try things much more often than I have. So that's always fun. To me, it's just about, hey, how do you feel? What do you have? And let's try something different, or let's not. Let's have what we just like. So it's not always the same for me. I don't know.
Adventures in dining is what I call it.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't love that?
I like it. Are you a supporter of any specific sports teams right now, or do you cheer for any team in particular?
Jeez. So right now, at the present time, it's the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs in Canada and the United States, which I think most people know Canadians are super crazy about ice hockey. So normally I would cheer the Vancouver Canucks, because in a former life I did work for them. And then, and I would cheer for any Canadian team, basically. So that, I like the Toronto Blue Jays because I like baseball. And then the Toronto Raptors. Basically, I cheer for Canadian teams. Canada in the World Cup of Soccer will be the one, because that's so exciting for me. The women are awesome. The men are getting really good, too. So, I don't know. Curling, Canada.
Okay, so pick any one of those amazing teams and touch points in sports that you talked about. If your team, whatever team that is, won, if it was the NHL playoffs or whatever, Stanley Cup, what bottle would you give them to celebrate with?
Well, it all comes back to sparkling. Of course. What do they do? Like if you watch F1.
Yeah.
They always have a Magnum of Ferrari sparkling.
Yeah.
So,
what one of your sparklings would you specifically, because you have quite a few. Is it 4 now? 5? 6? Oh, Lord, 6.
I'd give them the 7 Stars Sirius, which is our premium sparkling. So longest aging on Lee's, the best one we got. So that's the one I would give them.
And it's super delicious. Oh my gosh. What is the best piece of advice you have ever received in your life? And it could be a piece of advice, or it could just be something that you live your life by.
I keep thinking about my work, and one of my mentors told me that any winemaker can make wine in a good vintage. Only a good winemaker can make good wine in a bad vintage. So that's one thing I've always tried to live by as far as my work goes. So that would be an influential statement for me.
That's fantastic, and it's incredibly true, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's absolutely true.
What would you say is your proudest achievement in your work life thus far? Because I know there's so much more beautiful stuff up your sleeve. I know it. I can tell.
I think we won the International Champagne and Sparkling Wine Championship Best Sparkling Wine in Canada. That was very exciting because we got to go to London and celebrate it. So that was very interesting. By winning the best sparkling in your country, you're also put into the best sparkling in the world category. And to be put up against, some of the most famous champagne houses and Ferrari and Italy, it was such an awesome moment for me.
Can you please complete the following sentence? A table without wine is like
a bucket without water.
Fantastic. Oh, I like that question so much because there's no right answer, right, on any of these. What sort of wines do you think we're going to be enjoying in the next 100 years? Like in 2300, are we going to be drinking the same types of wines, or do you think styles are going to change or vineyard practice is going to change and things will be different 100 years from now?
I absolutely think they'll be different because if you think about 100 years ago, what were we drinking? Obviously, styles will change, technology will change, climate will change. There may be those who will be having the same types of wines or try to keep traditions going, but we're always evolving in the wine industry and changing what we have. I feel like if we can't, we need to do something about climate change and stop that. But I also think it looks like hybrids may be coming on board. Even in traditional wine regions, they're developing them. So that, I think, may be something that in 100 years might be happening. And we may not be stuck with the same grapes that we think are the best right now.
It would be wonderful to be around in 100 years to see maybe technology for humankind will allow Mary and I to be still on this planet, drinking and sipping and enjoying and kibitzing with each other. Okay, so you're relegated to a deserted island or sent out into outer space for the rest of your life, but you are allowed to bring 3 wines that you continually will be able to drink and get replenished for the rest of your life. What 3 either grape varieties or methods, what would you be bringing to and choose either the deserted island or outer space?
I'll go on that deserted island for sure. I'd probably choose champagne. A red, I would choose Burgundy. A white, that's a difficult one. What would I choose? Riesling.
And would that be a BC Riesling or a Alsatian or a German?
After doing some tasting yesterday, I'd say German for sure.
Okay, you have made a little bit of mention towards this, but I am going to ask again. Is there a winemaking country, region in the world that you would love to explore more than anywhere else?
Maybe Portugal or Spain, because I think that they do so many different things, obviously beautiful ports out of Portugal, beautiful sherries out of Spain. I'm going to lump those two together. They won't like it, but I'm going to do it. Beautiful, fantastic, full-bodied reds, beautiful saline whites. They just have so many things going on. Cava in Spain. think not at all, really. I think there, and it's so traditional and different varieties that we get to experience here in British Columbia. So I think that would be interesting for me.
Okay, we're not finished quite yet. We just got one fun thing. This is the wine soundtrack, so we have to sprinkle some little music in here. It's time where we like to play a little game, and I'm going to pick 3 different wine varieties, and I'd love you to pair them with either a song or a band, and if you're not coming up with either of those, maybe a genre. Okay, so I'm going to start you off with Riesling.
Oh, what would I do with that? How about Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton?
Oh, I like that you actually said a song and a singer. Yay! You get 10 points out of 10. Okay, my next one that I'm going to throw at you is Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh. It's kind of bigger, but not like heavy rock. Almost something classical too, I think. I don't know if this is the right song, but maybe expresses kind of the right thing would be Ode to Joy.
Ooh, Beethoven.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, the joy of it. It's a uplifting, big sounding song, which is a big wine, something like that, I think would go with it well.
You know that I'm going to go home and open up a bottle of Cab Sauv and crank that. That is amazing. I love that pairing. Wow, you're knocking it out of the park here. Okay, last one. Have to. Chardonnay.
Oh.
You thought I was going to go somewhere else, didn't I?
I did. Chardonnay. There's this song that I really like. It's called Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty. And it's got a really great saxophone in it. And to me, the song, I always think of it, whatever he's saying in the words, I'm not sure, but to me it's always a traveling, like going on a trip, kind of seeing, like whether it's and to me it's more of like a walking, hiking tour and a journey. So that one, to me, the Chardonnay is always a journey because it's always so many different styles, made in so many different ways, tastes so different from so many different regions. So I would say that song.
Mary, thank you so very much for joining us today on the Wine Soundtrack Canada podcast. Would you please remind people where we can find our wines, and can we visit your tasting room?
Absolutely. So I'm from Township 7 Vineyards and Winery, located in South Langley, British Columbia, and on the Naramata Bench in British Columbia. So please come and visit us. We're so happy to have you as guests.
And what is your social media, your website for anyone that is looking to purchase your wines online if they can't get here sooner than they want to?
Yes, everything's available online at Township7, that's the number 7.com. And from there, you'll be directed in any direction of wines you want to get. We're also on Instagram and Facebook.
Mary, you have just been an absolute delight as a guest. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being our guest today. Is there any last words you would like to share with the listeners of Wine Soundtrack Canada?
Well, you should listen to this podcast because Christine is trying to show you about what's happening in the world of British Columbia. And it's very interesting what's happening here. And it's a small niche market in the world of wine, but there's so many interesting wines for you to enjoy.
I promise I didn't ask Mary to say that, but I'm going to sign off with that because that was absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Mary. Have a great day, all.
Thanks for listening to a new episode of Wine Soundtrack Canada. For updates and details, visit our website, winesoundtrack.com.